Welcome back. A humanitarian crisis continues to worsen in Sudan as the deadly conflict marks 2 years. About 300 people have lost their lives and thousands more displaced in the power struggle between the government and paramilitary rapid support forces. To unpack the extent of the humanitarian situation, I'm now joined by Marion Ramstein, the North Darfur Field Coordinator at Doctors Without Borders. Marion, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this evening. It's been 2 years since the conflict has started in Sudan. Just talk to us about how it's evolved over these 2 years, and what could you say are some of the significant changes that you've observed during this time?
This conflict has been going on for 3 years, and what we can mainly say is that the civilians are paying the highest toll. They are constantly targeting, and we can also face on the failing of the humanitarian response in front of all the needs that this conflict has been generated. Again, what just happened in Zamzam recently, the biggest and the oldest IDP camp in Sudan, is a good illustration of this war. Civilians have been targeted, injured, shelled after months of being starved, deprived of aid, deprived of supply, living under an area under siege for months. And this is a very good illustration that what is going on in Sudan right now. We can see that since 1 week now, there is a massive influx of people arriving in Tawila, where I am talking from, where I am right now, which is located 60 kilometers away from Zamzam. And all the civilians are flying away from this camp. They are arriving in a very, very poor condition. Most of them are severely dehydrated. Today, again, at our hospital, at MSF Hospital, we received one case of a woman who was dead upon arrival at the entrance of the hospital because of dehydration. People are basically dying because they are lacking water, because they have been starved for months, blocked, and now they are arriving here, flying from a war zone in really horrific state, after having suffered and witnessed all type of violence during the attack and later on the way.
Just talk to us about that access to supplies. I mean, you speak about a lot of people suffering from dehydration. How difficult is it to get supplies, be it medical supplies or just basic food supplies to civilians at this point?
It's very complicated. First, because the needs are huge, we overwhelm. We're talking about more than 20,000 people who arrived within 2 days. And since the beginning of the resuming of the shelling, maybe more than 40,000 people who arrived with nothing. There is no water, no food, no shelter, no toilets, so they're lacking everything. And as humanitarian, it's really complicated to work here in Darfur because we are suffering for a lot of blockage of all our supply, and it's really complicated. We're facing so many needs now that we have to duplicate our capacity at the hospital. We have to open the new health post in a couple of days, and we will be facing a lot of shortage recently because of lack of supply and because it took us maybe 2 to 3 months just to get trucks arriving to Tawila.
You mentioned
security problem,
right.
Administrative problem. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you mentioned dehydration as one of the main issues. What are some of the other health issues that the communities are currently facing?
Gunshots. We receive so many gunshots, even though Tawila is not that close away from Zamzam. People are coming, and we receive within 3 days 170 gunshots. Some of them are children, some of them are women. The smallest patient we receive is 7 months, baby. 7 months old, who have been gunshot. So a lot of injured and dehydration, and a lot of missile as well, because before this massive influx of people, we were in the middle of a missile peak here in Tawila.
So how do you then prioritize medical needs, especially given the restraints that you experience?
So we have to prioritize and to make sure that the most severe cases will go first. And obviously, when we don't have enough capacity to solve, we're trying to do our best. And we launch, and our team is really exhausted. They're working day and night to make sure we make our very best to try to to treat all the patients, but it's not possible. It's too big.
And any collaborations that have proven to be effective during this time?
So we're really calling for a massive scale-up of aid. Here, the situation is overwhelming. There is humanitarian actors, but nobody was prepared to face this huge, massive arrival of people with this level of starvation and dehydration. And these people have been blocked on the area on the siege for months. So now we're really calling for stopping it's not possible to have no further mass atrocity like that. Both indiscriminate and ethnically motivated should stop now. We're really calling for all the warring party to immediately stop the attack on civilians, because again, the people, the injured we're receiving, the patient at hospital, the one who are lacking water are civilians, are women, are children, and these people are dying now. So we're really, really calling for the siege of al-Fashir to be lifted, for the UN and all the key diplomatic actors to use their leverage power to ensure that the RSF will end the siege, and to call for immediate action. Food needs to be sent in al-Fashir, medical aid needs to be sent in al-Fashir to release all the civilian population from this siege.
What do you think it would take to end this conflict?
Well, this is a very tough question. I'm not sure I would be able to do that, but at least for all the we're calling for all the warring party to respect humanitarian law, protect the civilian, and hopefully peace will come back.
And how important just is it for the international community to be aware of what's happening in Sudan?
Yeah, it's really important. I think Sudan has been a crisis that we can call forgotten. Even though we're talking about the very massive crisis, the biggest one in terms of number of displaced. These people have been displaced so many times, and yet international community is not doing anything. Even though there is so many proof of breach of respect of humanitarian law, of atrocity towards civilians, and yet nobody is talking about it and nothing is moving. It's been 2 years and the situation is just getting worse and worse.
And why do you think that is so? I mean, you refer to it as a forgotten crisis, and we've seen conflicts in Ukraine, in Gaza. The whole world has stood up against it. Why do you think this is a forgotten crisis for Sudan?
I would say that maybe because there is so many crises around the world, it's complicated to cover all of them. But it's not, and maybe it's a bit further than the other crises, but it's not a good enough reason to not to talk about it. What we're witnessing here is terrific. We need to speak out. It's not possible to witness all this. The testimony of the people who are arriving is really awful. What they experienced during the attack, what they experienced during the road. This many people suffering, we cannot stay silent. We need to voice out. So we'll continue our efforts to do our utmost for the population here and to keep witnessing what they are telling us. The story of the road between Zamzam and al-Fashir are horrific. We're talking about experiences, all kind of violence, killing, looting, beating. It's people who run away from their house trying to save their life, leaving behind some family member, either because they were killed or because they were injured, not able to walk toward Tawila. A lot of family have been spared. Some children are moving without their parents. Everybody lose some family members. And we are expecting the situation to get worse because the threat of al-Fashir being attacked and all his population to come toward Tawila or other direction with nowhere else to go is really scary, and it's there. We are really, really worried about the population in al-Fashir now and what will come next.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's quite concerning. Marion, thank you so much for your time and for your dedication to the work that you and Doctors Without Borders continue to do in that forgotten crisis, as you make mention. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.